Hello students, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about breathing, pathway of air, epiglottis and passage of air, and activity 1. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to cover in this lecture. Okay, now let us start about our discussion. The first starting with the breathing. Okay, so the breathing in the previous lessons also we have discussed that inhaling and exhaling of the gases is known as breathing. Okay, so you are going to take the air in and release the air outside. That process is known as breathing. So in this experiment, a small experiment is there in the topic of breathing. So in this experiment we have to show that there is a carbon dioxide releasing when you are exhaling. Okay, it means the carbon dioxide is released while exhaling the gases. Okay, for this experiment we have to take the two test tubes. Okay, this is the test tube 1 and this is the test tube 2. Okay, both the test tubes are filled with lime solution. Okay, so lime solution are, you can call as a you know that the lime solution. Okay, so this lime solution is filled in both the test tubes, and we have to insert the tubes. Okay, we have to insert the tubes into it. Okay, these are the tubes, and with the help of your mouth you have to blow the air into this lime solutions. And what happens in the after some time, so this lime solution is going to turn into milky white. Okay, milky white precipitation. So milky white ppt. Okay, or you can call it as a precipitation. So what is the reason for turning of this lime water or lime solution into milky white precipitation? So there is one important reaction. So lime solution plus carbon dioxide. So where the carbon dioxide is came, this carbon dioxide is present in your exhaled air. Okay, while you are breathing out, the exhaled air contains some amount of carbon dioxide. So this lime solution plus carbon dioxide is going to give the appearances, or you can see the milky white ppt. Okay, milky white precipitation. Okay, that you can see here. So in these test tubes, so by this we confirm that the carbon dioxide is present in the exhaled air. Okay, so this is a small explanation about the experiment. So hence we can confirm that the carbon dioxide in exhaled air will react with the lime water or lime solution and turns the lime water into milky white precipitation. So the air is transferred into the lungs. It means from the nostrils the air is taken into the lungs, then into the microscopic sacs. They are known as alveoli. These are the sites of the gases exchange. So this is the main important topic that we are going to discuss after a moment. So the gases will get exchanged between the alveoli and also blood vessels and vice versa. So if you can see here, so these are the lungs. Let us consider this is the lung. Okay, these are the two lungs, right and left lung. So if you see the small portion over here, so there is a bronchioles ending into a sac-like structure is known as alveoli. Okay, or you can call it as alveolus. So this alveolus contains carbon dioxide. So let us draw a little bit bigger. Okay, so they contains oxygen. Okay, this oxygen is coming from the outside when you are inhaling, and this oxygen, and here you can see the blood capillary. Okay, this blood capillary contains blood, okay, containing carbon dioxide. Why? Because this blood is coming from the different tissues. So this carbon dioxide will be released into the alveoli, or you can call it as alveolus. And after releasing the carbon dioxide into the alveolus, the oxygen is taken into the blood by the RBC. So there is a exchanging of the gases is occurring from the alveolus to the blood capillary. Okay, this is a main important term or main important concept. So again, the gas will get exchanged between the alveolus and blood vessels and vice versa. Okay, and so on from here to here and here to here, and this such kind of mechanism is going to occur on. Okay, we are going to discuss these important topics in the mechanism of respiration in detail. Okay, so just this is the introduction about that particular topic. So next there is a question: what does this experiment indicate? Just now we have seen a small experiment in the breathing topic, that is turning of lime water into milky white precipitation. So this experiment is saying that the carbon dioxide is liberated during the respiration. So respiration means the cellular respiration. So in the cellular respiration, the glucose molecule is turned into energy. Okay, energy plus CO2. Okay, this is known as cellular respiration. that is occurring inside the cells. You can see the important gas, or you can call it as a gas which is not useful for the body, that is known as carbon dioxide. So during the glucose breakdown, the oxygen is most important gas is utilized. So we confirm that this carbon dioxide is released during the respiration. Okay, this carbon dioxide is liberated during the respiration. So next question is the gas, which gas turns the lime water milky? So the carbon dioxide is going to convert the lime water into milky white appearance, or you can call it as a milky white precipitation. Okay, so it looks like a milk, but it is not a milk. Why? Because there is a precipitation that has been occurred in the lime solution or lime water. Okay, next is the which gas do you think might be present in the greater quantities in the air we breathe out as compared to the air? So what they are asking in this question, they are asking that the composition of the air. So what is meant by air? Air is a mixture of the gases. So air is a mixture of gases. Okay, so if the air is a mixture of gases, what the gases are present, like carbon dioxide, okay, the carbon dioxide, okay, comma, oxygen and nitrogen, these all are the different types of the gases that is present in the air. Not only these three, there are many gases that is present in the air, but we are going to consider only three gases, that is carbon dioxide, oxygen and also nitrogen. So first, if you see here, so the breathe out air, the breath of air consists of 4% of the carbon dioxide. So that is in the atmosphere there is about 0.03 percentage of the carbon dioxide that is present in the nature. But when you are exhaling out the gases, okay, when you are exhaling out the gases, the 0.03 is increased to 4.4 percentage. This is due to the cellular respiration. So while the air is inhaling, while the air is entering into the lungs, so what happens? The carbon dioxide is around when the carbon dioxide composition is 0.03. Okay, while the same air is when exhaled through the lungs, this 0.03 is going to turn into 4 percentage. Okay, it means you are releasing the carbon dioxide. Okay, you are releasing the carbon dioxide during the cellular respiration. So the oxygen is previously 16 percentage is there. Okay, 16 percentage oxygen and 21 percentage is in the atmosphere. It means that 21 percentage before breathing, 21 percentage before breathing in the air. Okay, and it is reduced to the 16 percentage. So what does it indicate? You are consuming the oxygen. Here you are releasing the carbon dioxide. Why? Because 0.03 is turned into 4 percentage, and here the 21 percentage is reduced to 16 percentage. It means you are utilizing the oxygen. And next is the 7.8, it's not 78. So and okay, we will see the around 78 percentage in the nitrogen. Okay, the nitrogen is in the higher composition. Okay, 78 percentage. So it is present in both inhale and exhale. It means before breathing, okay, 78 percentage, and after breathing also 78 percentage. So what does it indicate? It indicates that 78 percentage is before and 70 percentage after. It indicates that the nitrogen is not consumed by the body and nitrogen is not released by the body during the cellular respiration, okay, into the air. Okay, this is the main important concepts. So what they are saying that only carbon dioxide and oxygen is changing their values, percentages. Okay, next question is, we are also aware of the fact that the water vapor deposits on the mirror if we breathe out. So what they are asking that why there is a formation of water vapor deposition on the mirror. So that is nothing but during the respiration, so the water vapor is released, that is condensed when it touches. So air, okay, when you exhaling the gas, so it is going to, when if you blow the exhale air onto the glass of the mirror, what does it indicate? This exhale air contains water vapor. This water vapor touches the surface of the mirror. So whenever the water vapor is touching the surface of the mirror, it is going to condense. So as a result, it will form a light droplets of the water that you can see as a water vapor. Okay. So where does this water vapor coming from in a exhale air? It means the respiratory tract. So right from the starting with the nostrils till the end of the alveoli, there is a layer of the water, or you can call it the moisture. So when you are exhaling the gases, this gas, okay, the exhaled gas is going to carry some amount of water in the form of water vapor. Okay, So this water vapor is going to, the air is going to come out along with the water vapor that has been brought, that has been taking from the air, that is taking from the surface of the respiratory tract. Okay, so it means you can simplify the answer in this way: the air we breathe out carries some amount of water in the form of water vapor. Okay, this water vapor is going to fall on the mirror if you blow out the air onto the mirror. Okay, on surface of the mirror. So the next topic is the pathway of air. So the pathway of air means the region of the respiratory tract. Okay, the complete respiratory tract is starting from the nostrils to the alveolus, and the complete tract is moist and warm. Okay, this is not moist, this is moist. Okay, moist. What is meant by moist? Moist means water layer. Okay, or layer of water that is a small film. Okay, this is, let us consider this is the respiratory tract. You can see the small a layer of the water that is known as moist. You can call it the moist or water layer. Okay, so the pathway of air consists of main important topics. The first one is the nostril, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchioles, and bronchus, bronchioles, and also alveoli, and so on. So let us see here. With the help of this diagram, we will see the flow chart of this. So the first is the nostril. The nostril is going to start from here. Okay, and after the nostril, there you can see the nasal cavity. Actually, the nostrils are nothing but they are the first opening of the respiratory tract, and air enters into the nostrils, that is into the body. Okay, next is the nasal cavity. Right after the nostrils, you can see there is a nasal cavity. So this nasal cavity is a region that is covered with moist surface. Moist surface means the surface which is covered with water. Okay, that is known as moist surface, along with the hair inside. Here you can see the hair. So what is the main importance of the hair? This hair is going to trap the dust particles and some bacteria and so on. So this is going to trap. So next is the pharynx. So here you can see the pharynx. So the main important of the pharynx is it is a common passage for the respiratory and digestive tract. So the gas is coming from here, and also the food is coming here. So hence this region is known as pharynx. It is a common passage for the food and air. Okay, so after the pharynx, you can see in the pharynx you can see there is a flap like muscular wall. So this is the flap like muscular wall. Okay, this flap like muscular wall is going to regulate or control the movement of food and air. Its name is epiglottis. Okay, let us draw the diagram a little bit bigger. So we will draw neatly here. Okay, so let us consider this is the this is the pharynx. So here in this pharynx you can see here there is a flap like structure. So this flap like structure is known as epiglottis. So here you can see the epiglottis. So what this epiglottis is going to do, it is going to control the movement of food and air. So this is the pharynx. So this is the pharynx, and this pharynx is a common passage for the food and food and air. So the food is going to enter into the esophagus. So this is the esophagus, and this is trachea. Okay, this is trachea. It means the air is going to enter into this tube, while the food is going to enter into this tube. Okay, so this such kind of entry of food and air is regulated by the epiglottis. So this is epiglottis. So it is the main important function is to control the movement of food and air. Okay, the food should not enter into the trachea. So why? Because there will be a lot of problem is going to occur. Okay, and the larynx, it is a stiff box containing the vocal cords. When the larynx vibrates, it is going to make some sounds. Okay, so that is especially from the lungs. So from the lungs the air is entering into the larynx. So this larynx is going to make vibrations. So these vibrations turns into sounds. So these sounds may be a song, maybe a speech, or anything. So this is the sounds produced in this way. So the air from the lungs is going to enter into the lungs. From the lungs, it is in the lung. That is not the lungs; it is the larynx. So in the larynx, these larynx is going to vibrate, and these are going to cause sounds. Okay, so you can call it as a vocal cords. So these vocal cords are going to vibrate. So next is the trachea. It is a tube or a pipe like structure that enters into the lungs, that is known as trachea. Okay, in this diagram you can see here, so it's a tube. This tube is also known as a trachea. So this trachea is going to enter into the lungs. Okay, so next, a bronchus. It is a fine division of the trachea. It is a division of the trachea into two bronchi that enters into each lungs. Let us draw the diagram. So this is the trachea, and this trachea is going to divide into two branches. So these branches are known as bronchus. So this is one bronchus. This is the second bronchus. So this is going to enter into the one lung. Okay, this is going to enter into the another lung. Okay, that is left and right lungs. So this is known as bronchus. So next, this bronchus is going to divide into fine branches. Okay, fine branches into the lungs. Okay, so again they are going to divide. So the division is known as bronchioles. So bronchioles means the division of the bronchus, or the fine division of the bronchus into numerous branches, that is known as bronchioles. So these are known as bronchioles. Again, these bronchioles, let us consider this is the one bronchiole. So this bronchiole is going to turn into alveolus. So these alveolus are the balloon like structure. Okay, balloon or sac like structure. So it is the ending part of the bronchioles. Okay, remember the bronchus means it is the division. Okay, the trachea is, this is the trachea. Okay, so this is the bronchus, and these are bronchioles. These are fine division of the bronchus is known as bronchioles. Okay, and these bronchioles, you can see this is the bronchiole. This bronchiole is going to turn into sac-like structure that is known as alveolus. Okay, so these alveolus are the final determination of the bronchioles into cluster sac-like structure called alveoli in the lungs. These alveoli are numerous. Numerous means there are uncountable number of the alveoli is present, and these alveoli is going to help in the exchanging of the gases. Just now we have drawn one diagram, that is, let us consider this is the alveolus. So the first, if you breathe in air, it is going to accept the air containing the oxygen, and in the blood, let us consider this is the blood vessel that is coming from the body. Okay, so what it is going to do, it is going to carry the carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide will be released into the alveoli, and this oxygen is taken into the blood, okay, into the RBC. Okay, what you can understand from it, that there is exchanging of the gases, okay, through the alveolus. So next is the blood, or you can call it the exchanging of the gases. Next is the blood. It means the blood capillary is surrounded by the alveolus. So this is known as blood capillaries. Okay, basically means blood capillaries. So surrounding the alveolus, exchange gases and transports to every cell in the body and collect the carbon dioxide from the cells. Let us consider this is a blood vessel that is it is coming from the alveolus to the body parts. So in the body parts there are the cells. Okay, so it is going to give the oxygen to the cells. Oxygen is given to it, and it is going to take the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is taken from the cells, and again it is going to bring to the lungs. Okay, so this is the process. How the exchanging of the gases is seen. So oxygen from here to the tissue. Okay, from the tissue carbon dioxide is brought to the lungs. Okay, so in the lungs the oxygen is taken again, and so on. This procedure repeats and so on. Okay, so next is the nostrils. So this is just now we have discussed this nostrils. It is the first starting point of the respiratory system. Next is the nasal cavity. It contains hair along with a light mucus along with moist surface. After that, the pharynx is a common passage for the food and air. Next is the larynx. So the larynx contains vocal cords. These vocal cords are going to vibrate when the air passes from the lungs to the vocal cords. When the air is passing from the lungs to the vocal cords, these vocal cords are going to vibrate to create sounds. Okay, these sounds may be a song, may be a speech, or maybe some kind of other source of the sound. So these vocal cords are present in the larynx. It is also known as voice box. Larynx is also known as voice box. Why? Because the sounds are generated over there. So after that you can see that trachea. So trachea means a long tube. Okay, it's a tube that that carries the air, that is known as trachea. So this trachea is divided into two branches, that is known as bronchus. Okay, this bronchus is going to turn into bronchioles. It means this bronchus is going to divide fine. Okay, the fine division of the bronchus is known as bronchioles. Okay, these bronchioles again they are going to turn into a sac-like structures. They are known as alveolus or alveoli. Okay, this is the thing. And these are the structures of the lungs. So this is the right lung and also left lung. Okay, so here from the alveolus you will see the blood. Okay, the oxygen will mix with the blood, and at the same time the carbon dioxide will be released from the blood into the alveolus. Okay, so the next is the alveoli of the lungs are the numerous, and they are about millions and lined with moisture and helps in the exchanging of the gases. So it means these alveolus, okay, these alveolus, just know that you have seen, they are lined with the mucus. Okay, means they are lined with the moisture. So lined with the moisture, and this moisture, what it is going to do, it is going to help in the exchanging of the gases, whether it may be oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, so the surface area is enormous, and they will cover the area nearly 160 square meters. So this 150 square meters is huge space. So hence it is equal to the tennis court. So this is the main thing. So first of all we have to understand about what is meant by surface area. Okay, let us consider. So this is a small cube, and this if you can see here the small cube, it has four surfaces. In this diagram just now we have seen it has a four sides. Let us consider four sides. So each side is 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 and 2 centimeters. So now cut the cube into two. Okay, how it will look like. Okay, so this is 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, and here the 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, and also here you can see the 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, 2 and 2. So what you can see, is there any increasing the surface? Is there any increasing surface? Total how many surfaces are there? 2 into 2 to 4 the 8. Here there is a 8 centimeters. The surface of this cube is 8 centimeters. So let us consider, is there any increase here? So here the 2 to 4, 4 8. Okay, 8 plus 1 1 1 1. It means total how much? So 4. Okay, hence you can count 2 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, so total 12. Okay, 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, it means previously it is 8 centimeters, now it is 12 centimeters. So the 8 centimeters is turned into 12 centimeters. So what does it indicate? The surface area is increasing or not? Yes, the surface area is increasing. So increasing of the surface area. Just now is a cube, again divide it 2. Okay, again the divides the cubes into 2, again divide into 2, and so on. If you go on dividing the cubes into numerous types, the surface area is going to increase even more. It means it may increase up to 1000 centimeters. It means the 8 centimeters may be converted into 1000 centimeters. Okay, go on. If you go on dividing, the surface area increases. So this is one of the main thing. So this is the lung. Okay, this is the lung. Let us consider this is the left lung. And if it is divided into numerous tiny sac-like structures, these are known as alveoli. What does it indicate? It is going to increase the surface area. So if the surface area increases, what will happen? If the surface area increases, the rate of absorption of the gases will be even more. Okay, if the rate of surface area increases, so what happens? The rate of absorption of gases also increases. So this is a main important criteria over here. So why there is a need of increasing surface area in the lungs with alveoli? Just to absorb more amount of the gases. Okay, this is a main concept over here. So let us consider this is only the one lung. Okay, it may contains maximum around 20 to 30 centimeters. So 20 to 30 centimeters of surface area will be not at all sufficient for the proper efficient absorption of the gases or exchanging of the gases. Okay, now I hope that you have understood about the surface area importance in absorption of the gases or in any practical application. Okay, so now we will move on to the next question. What will happen if the respiratory tract is not moist? So if it is not if the respiratory tract is not moist, it is not capable of absorbing the dust particles. So or you can call it as it is not able to trap the dust particles. So if the respiratory tract is not going to trap the dust particles, they are going to move into the lungs, and in the lungs these dust particles are going to cause some kind of troubles. Okay, so hence the moist surface is going to help in the filtration of the gas or filtration of the air. So the increasing the temperature of the air is not possible. So the same question, this is the continuation of this question. So it is not the question, it is the answer. Okay, next topic next is increasing the temperature of air is not possible. So this is another second point, first point, second point, and the rate of gas exchange is also reduced, hence the oxygen is not sufficient for the cellular respiration. This is the third point. So this question has a 3 points. The first point is there is no filtration of the gas or there is no filtration of the air. Second point is the temperature of the air cannot be increased. So what happens if the temperature of the air is not increased? The bacteria which is present in the air will not get killed. As a result, these bacteria is going to cause some kind of infection or some kind of disease in the respiratory tract. So next is the gases. The rate of gases is reduced. So if there is no moisture or there is no moist content over here, so if it is if it is not moist, what it is going to cause? It is going to cause less absorption of the gases. If the absorption of the gas is even very less, so that gases are not sufficient for the body for its normal cellular respiration. Okay, so the next question is, are both lungs similar in size? So actually the lungs are not similar in size. So the left lung is slightly smaller. So the reason for the smaller size of this lung is to accommodate or to provide a space for the heart. So the left lung has to be a little bit smaller to provide a space for the heart. Okay, this is the main reason. So why are the alveoli is so small and uncountable in nature? So just now we have discussed, if they are small, okay, if they are small, what will happen? The surface area will be increased. Okay, so and if the alveoli, if there is only one alveoli in the one big alveoli in the lungs, what will happen? The surface area is very less. In that case, there is less absorption of the gases absorption is very less. So in this case, what will happen? The surface area is higher, there is much higher surface area, and if the surface area is much higher, there is increased rate of the gases absorption. Okay, so this is only the main difference. So this is only the reason nature introduced the alveoli in the lungs. Okay, and next is the epiglottis and passage of air. Just now we have discussed about the epiglottis. So here you can see this is the epiglottis. So if you draw the diagram of the epiglottis, it looks in this way. Okay, so this is the epiglottis. This epiglottis is going to control or regulate the movement of the food and air. So the air enters into the nasal cavity to the pharynx. So let us consider this is the nostril. Okay, nasal cavity. Okay, NC means nasal cavity, and these are the pharynx. Okay, pharynx, and here the food enters. Okay, the air is going to enter from here, the food is going to enter from here. It means this pharynx is a common passage for the food and air, and the food has to be regulated and air has to be regulated. It means the food has to enter here and the air has to enter here. Okay, so such kind of main important work is done by the epiglottis. When you are eating, the flap, the epiglottis is like, it's like a flap like structure, is going to close the trachea. Okay, the region of the trachea, and it is going to allow the food enter to pass. When you are breathing, it will open and the air will enter into the trachea through the larynx. Okay, so this pharynx has two passages. One is to the lungs, another is to the stomach. Epiglottis is a flap-like structure, prevents the entry of the food into the windpipe. So windpipe means trachea. Here we can see the trachea. So this is a common diagram. So this is a nasal, this is a nostrils, nasal cavity. So this is the pharynx, this is the oral groove, that is food, this is the oral cavity where the food will be taken through, and this is the common passage. So this is the common passage, this is the epiglottis. Okay, so epiglottis allows the entry of air into the trachea when the food is not consumed. So next question is, why we are advised not to talk while eating the food material. If you talk while you are eating the food material, the coordination between the brain and epiglottis will get disturbed. So if the coordination between the brain and epiglottis is disturbed, there is a chance of entry of the food material into the trachea. Okay, the food material may enter into the trachea. So the trachea is not meant for the passage of the food. The trachea is meant for the only the entry of air. So in that case, what will happen? In that case, the choking will occur. You will suffer a lot. You will suffer a lot. You will cough a lot. Why? Because the food entered into the trachea. So as a result, the main respiratory tract has to be the respiratory tract has to remove the food material that entered into the trachea. So as a result, you will cough a lot. Okay. So this is the reason, do not talk while you are eating. Okay. So next is the activity 1. This activity 1 is to say about the mechanism that is seen while eating. Okay, the importance of this epiglottis while you are swallowing. So for this activity, we have to do one small activity. So in this activity, what you have to do? You have to keep your palm. You have to keep your palm 1 inch far away from the nose. So what you will see when you keep the palm 1 inch away from the nose, you will see there is a inhalation and exhalation of the gas that is known as breathing. You can observe the breathing while you keep 1 inch away palm. Okay, when you keep the palm 1 inch away. So now take a small piece of the fruit and chew it and swallow it, and observe the gases, observe the breathing while you are swallowing. So what you can see, while you are swallowing the food material, you will see that the breathing stops. Okay, breathing stops while you are swallowing. So what is happening over there? It is happening that the epiglottis is going to close the trachea. Okay, epiglottis, this epiglottis is going to close this. When the epiglottis is closed, this region that is known as trachea, the food enters into the esophagus. Okay, the food is going to enter into the esophagus. Okay, so when the esophagus will open, the esophagus will be in open condition when you are swallowing the food material. Okay, when this trachea will be closed, the trachea will be closed when you are swallowing the food material. Okay, so this is a main important topic or main important concept, where the flap, that is known as esophagus. This esophagus is going to close. This esophagus will be the food material that is used for the flow of the food material, while this epiglottis, the flap like structure, is going to close the trachea. Okay, while you are eating the food material, so that the food material should not enter into the trachea. Okay, and next is, what did you notice when notice and what happens to your breath as you swallow it? So we notice that the stopping of the breathing stops when the food material is being swallowed. Okay, so next is, what is helping you to swallow the food without deflecting into the windpipe? So that is, epiglottis is helping while swallowing the food material. Hence, the epiglottis prevents the entry of the food into the trachea. Okay, so if the food material enters into the trachea, what will happen? The choking will occur. Okay, so I hope this lecture is helpful to you, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel so that you will get notifications when the videos are uploaded, or when the class is going to start. Like the video, share and comment, and you can ask the doubts in the comment section, and if you have any suggestion, provide in the comment section so that we will reply to it. And the next lecture is going to start with the mechanism of respiration in human beings. Okay, we will see you in the next lecture.